Hello and welcome to another episode of Gravitated Arts. I'm very excited today to finally get to share this episode with you all. Just over a week ago, I reached out to my guest, asking if he could come on the podcast. They gave me the thumbs up, and a few days later, I had a phone call with Reuben Williams, discussing the 24-year-old's journey in life so far. As a kid growing up, witnessing the North Brisbane boy achieve the things he achieved, it felt unreal to have had the conversation. Something that stood out for sure was his positive mindset approach to life, how he always tries to look at the good and not get caught up in the ugly. That's just one piece of gem from the many within his story. But enough of me talking now. Have a listen to the life of Reuben Williams. Good evening. Very special day today for the podcast. I got a very special guest with me. Growing up, playing sports and watching sports, I saw this young gentleman make it pro, and as a South Sudanese kid, seeing someone make it, it really meant a lot to be able to see this, and to be in this position right now means so much to me. And did you just want to introduce yourself, Reuben?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. So my name is Reuben William, and I'm from South Sudan originally. I moved to Australia. I was 5 years old, and I grew up in Brisbane. And as you mentioned, I was fortunate enough to play a few games for the Brisbane Lions in the AFL.
No, thank you so much for your time. 2015 rookie draft. Hearing your name, how did that feel?
Yeah, it was great. I actually got indication with being a Category B player. There was a bit of a process that you had to go through. So I kind of knew a few days beforehand, probably the night of the actual national draft, that I would go rookie a few days later. So I was able to get a bit of a head start, if you will, on a few other people who had a little bit more of a nervous wait. The rookie draft a few days later, but nonetheless, it was unreal just knowing, especially for me at the time, it was all I had to look forward to, really, because I was injured for an extended bit of time, so I wasn't really doing much but waiting to hear that. So yeah, it was really relieving, and it was really ecstatic for it, really.
Yeah. Your mother, she played a massive role in your career. How did it feel when you were able to tell her that you made it?
Yeah, it felt great, and not just my mum, but I had a really good support network around me, and obviously a lot of people from my junior football club as well too played a really big part in that as well too. So I think just for everyone within my close-knit community and my network, being able to tell them that was amazing. So everyone from my mum to my siblings to really close family friends too, that was really awesome.
No, that's amazing. You spent some years in the Lions Academy growing up, and you played alongside some of your friends, Mabior Chol and Ben Keys. How important were those friendships that you paved along the way?
Yeah, it was really important. Me and Ben actually went to the same school. We supported each other from year 8, so when we were about 12 years old.
Yeah.
He was obviously a little bit better than me, so he always was and still is a superstar. But yeah, I didn't get to play any academy football or do any academy programs until 2014, which is the year before my draft. But even then, I knew Ben from obviously from school, and I played against Marvia a few times as well too. So growing up, it was we knew of each other and were able to develop that acquaintance, and then from that point on, when we're spending 3 or 4 days a week together through academy and state program in our 18th year, that kind of just blossomed into a really strong friendship that's still pretty strong today.
No, that's awesome to hear. Well, in terms of the academy, like, how did that all work? Like, from playing junior football, you would have gone from 2 days a week. How much more was it in the academy?
Yeah, it was a lot. Even that whole 2014 to 2015 period for me was a lot. As I was playing like Division 3, 4 football, And as you touched on, 2 training nights a week. And I was doing that up until I was like 17, and all of a sudden I'm going into, preseason at the academy, which 2-3 hard sessions a week,
Yeah.
into our academy games, and then straight after that into Queensland Academy and doing all that as well too, and didn't actually really play any club football between in that period as well too, and it was a little bit of a shock too, and to the body a little bit, and I guess that's towards the back end of my draft year. That's where my body kind of broke down a little bit with my groins and osteitis pubis, but I think I wouldn't change it for anything else. The experience was amazing, and the hardest part was the preseason. And once you got over the preseason, it's just good times, good people. The coaches are amazing, and but yeah, from there, I feel like I really was able to excel, take myself to another level. Yeah.
Aside from obviously being drafted and your debut, has there been another moment that you've achieved something that you couldn't believe?
Yeah, for me, well, being drafted was a big one because I like I said, I wasn't playing any high level football when I was 16, 17. So to be like 12 months later, being drafted was amazing. But also with that group, winning the under 18 championships with that Queensland group, I think we were the first team to win it in 10 years, and we were just really close. And I feel like no other team's been close to that since. And obviously, it showed in our draft stock. We had a lot of players drafted out of that team, and it's something that I still cherish. I've still got my jersey and my medal, so that's another achievement I hold pretty close.
When you say at 16, 17, you didn't play any high-level football, so you were just playing club and then went straight?
Yeah, so I was just playing club football, and then I played in a diversity championships game, which you might have played against me in, and that's probably where my rise kind of started, if you will, and from there I was able to get an invite to the Lions Academy and then to the Queensland state team as an overager in the under 16s, and then played under 18s Queensland the next year.
Yeah. Just a bit aside from football, what comes to mind when I say the name Maury Fitzgerald?
What was that, sorry?
What comes to mind when I say the name Maury Fitzgerald?
Maury Fitzgerald?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a great man. So as I touched on too, he's one of the really close family friends and one of my really close networks that I had growing up. And like you can search around Australia, you won't find in my opinion, a better man, not only in his personal life, but at the football club at the Zilmia Eagles, which is still a staple of my life. And a lot of my friends and my siblings still play there and still attend there. And he's just been a rock for that football club, and he's been a rock for me too, growing up and throughout the journey to get to AFL football.
Yeah. Was he a coach, or what was the relationship between you guys?
So Maury was a volunteer.
Yep.
And he's one of the dads of one of my close friends, and his relationship with us is almost like a father figure. And he would take myself and my siblings to training, to games. My mum was working and had a handful of kids to deal with as well too, so he was able to fill that gap as well too. And obviously his wife Vera as well too played a really big part as well. And she helped, especially in my 18th year, was able to help me out with getting from A to B as well too, which I was super appreciative of.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. When people can like do that, especially like being from a different background and not having any relation to them, and then they just step in and be able to be that role for you.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sets up a relationship for life, and it just doesn't stop with football. You pretty much become family from that point on.
Your favorite AFL team? Still the Lions?
Yeah, I still go for the Brisbane Lions. I did when I was a kid, and I don't see that changing.
Yep. Favorite AFL player?
My favorite AFL player? My favorite AFL player it'd be Michael Frederick or Ali Ali, to be honest.
Nice. And your favorite sport that isn't AFL?
Basketball for sure.
Basketball.
Yeah.
You would have played that. You played that before fully committing to AFL, didn't you?
No, I actually didn't. I played AFL first when I was a kid.
Okay.
But I did play basketball second.
Yep.
After AFL, but no, I always played AFL first, and that was always the first time.
Okay. And three athletes that inspire you.
3 athletes that inspire me.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yep.
LeBron James.
That's a good one.
And I would say it's a tough one. Let's go with Serena Williams.
Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Tom Brady. Serena Williams or Tom Brady. Top 4 there.
No, that's some good ones right there. Serena coming to the end of her career, and then Tom Brady went back this year, I believe.
Yeah, and I guess the good thing, the thing they all have in common, if you hadn't noticed, is that their longevity is down to the way they look after themselves, even in off season and all that as well too, and how they're always looking to get better and get an edge regardless of age or whatever circumstance they may be in. So that's something that I want to do. I want to stay in pretty good shape and be able to do stuff that I can still do now in 5-10 years as well too.
Yeah. What would you say are 2 facts about you that not many people would know?
2 facts about me that not many people know. That's a tough one. So I think one would be, I've got a really broad sense of humour. I know sometimes I may have a pretty serious face on, but once you approach me and within the first 2 sentences you can see that I'm a really jovial character and always looking to have a laugh and do all that as well too. So that's one. The other one would be that I am a big fan of red wine. So that's probably my go-to drink.
Red wine.
Red wine. That's my go-to.
I've never actually tasted wine, so I couldn't speak on that.
Yeah, no, red wine is it's nice. I call it the relaxed man's drink. So you can pour maybe a little glass of wine and sit down and sip on it and relax and enjoy your surroundings.
Would you have your red wine after training, after a game, or would you say it's for after work?
After work for sure.
After work.
Yeah, after work. Or if you've had a long day. And the beauty about wine is that it's not 100% all bad. It's good for your red blood cells sometimes. You have a little bit here and there. So
yeah,
that's a good thing about it. But yeah, definitely, like if I have a long day at work, a glass of wine will go a long way. And then obviously after a long day, after a hard game as well too. And if I'm at home, rehydrating and refueling, etc. I might sneak in a glass of wine as well too while I'm watching the football on a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
Is that in those long glass cups, the wine cups?
Yeah.
Is that in one of them or just?
No, it has to be in the long in the wine glasses. Can't have it in a regular cup. It just looks pretty weird. Looks like you might be having a cup of Ribena, but I've got a few of them lying around the house as well too. So it's always good.
That's good, man. Before going into football, before football, you came to Australia very young, around 2003, and you would have been 5 at that time. Do you remember anything about Africa?
Not really. Vaguely here and there as well too. I remember spending a lot of time with my sisters, and obviously I remember the back end of it and the journey from Obviously Kenya to obviously from Kenya to the capital of Kenya to Nairobi, and then from there the flight to Australia, and then landing in Darwin. I remember bits and pieces of that,
Yeah.
but not too much. I do have there's vague memories, and I do have some pretty solid memories of that as well too, that I can recall very well. But yeah, a lot of it's pretty vague.
When you say landing in Darwin, did you stay there or just landing and then flying to Brisbane? Or
so we lived in Darwin for the first year in Australia, and then we moved to Brisbane the next year after that.
what made you guys move?
It was too hot. You've been up to Darwin?
It's too hot.
Yeah, have you been out there?
No.
Yeah, no, it's like 28 degrees in July every year, and it's very humid. So you can imagine it's smart. So yeah, it was too hot to
That's
stay
crazy.
out there. And Brisbane's probably the perfect in between Darwin and obviously down here in Melbourne, where it can get to -1 here in July. Yeah.
Going back to Africa, have you gone back since coming, or do you plan on going back one day?
No, I haven't gone back, but my mum still has a lot of her family there as well too, and probably look to send her back there for a visit in the next year or two as well too. Something that she's wanted to do for a while, so yeah, probably do that in the next year or two. So now that obviously it's been delayed a little bit with COVID and all that, pushed back probably 2-3 years, but it'd be good to get her back, and then maybe in the near future I'll go with her as well too.
Her going back, would that be her first time as well going back, or has she been?
Yeah, that will be her first time.
Okay. As I was reading about you through different articles, in pretty much every story that I read, a name that came up was Veronica, your mum. How would you describe what type of person your mum is?
Well, I didn't realize it until you probably realize it when you get older and you start to become an adult, how hard it would have been for her as well too. As a kid, you might be oblivious to that as well. But growing up and you realize all the responsibilities that you have as an adult, and then add on top of that, you've got five or so kids to look after and do all this other stuff for too. That's just made me a lot more appreciative of what she goes through as well too. And obviously we've got one more sibling at home in the high school now, so try and, even though I'm in Melbourne, try and help out. He's growing up and give him some advice as well too, and make sure he stays in line. But for her, she's been super, and she deserves a well-earned rest after this last kid is out of the house.
Yeah, is that Dominic, the one still in school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In one of the articles, it said that back in Africa, your mom worked in construction and would carry bricks on her head from one site to another. Did you ever see these things, or were these things that you learned?
No, I didn't. These are things, she would tell me and share those stories as well too. And just shows how much she had to do, why she waited for us to obviously get the green light to come to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like myself, you grew up in a pretty big household. In your home, there were 5 kids. Right? Now, that's a lot of personalities and different characters under one roof. What was it like with your siblings growing up?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We all love sports, so it was pretty easy to mix with them. And we all still do love sports, which is a great thing as well too. And we were able to go from there, and then obviously our own little personalities come out from there as well too. But at the core of all of that was sports, and from that we were able to bond really well. We all like the same things. We all like playing Xbox, Call of Duty, FIFA, all that stuff too. So we all did the same things. If one person did it, we all did it. So it was pretty cool to have that growing up.
That's really cool, man. In school, were you all at the same school?
Yeah, we all were at the same school. Me and my older brother, we're only a year apart, or a year and a half apart. So yeah, we were like, he was in year 10, I was in year 9. But then obviously Isaac's 3 years younger than me and 4 years younger than Joel. So so he came in when I was in year 11 and Joel was in year 12. So we only had the 2 years in school with him or 1 year, whereas it was the entire way with my older brother.
Yeah, that would have been nice. In terms of school, who would you say had the brains?
Who had the brains? Oh,
Yeah.
me, for sure.
You.
Yeah.
So you would have enjoyed the subjects, or?
Nah, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't say I was the smartest in my class. I was the smartest out of my brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you?
But
Yeah.
I looking back at school, I probably didn't do as well as I could have, to be honest. And now that I'm older and understand these things a little bit better, it's been really easy to apply myself. Like I'm back at uni now, studying business and sports management at Torrens University. So yeah, that's something I look back and I say I could have done better. But at the same time, like some of the subjects were a little bit irrelevant to adult life. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which subjects would you say you least didn't want to do?
I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Well, see, we got to do electives towards the end of it, but before that, like chemistry and all that, I wasn't really big on, like music and like learning another language like Japanese and French. I wasn't big on that, but come year 11, year 12, I had all my electives and I had all the subjects I wanted to do, so that was pretty good.
Oh, that's nice. And how's your business studies going right now?
Yeah, it's going well. I'm actually starting to implement some of that stuff into the stuff I want to do this off season now that I've got a bit more time on my hands. Try and get some stuff moving as well too, and see where that goes.
Yeah. What led to that? Like, obviously playing, and then what led to you wanting to go into study business?
Well, it was in my workplace. Like I was doing a lot of good work, but like I wanted to progress a little bit more, and that paper in your hand goes a long way when you're looking to push something down or break down a door to something. So that was probably the main motivation. But what's come out of that is that desire to start my own thing and do something with that.
Before going any further, I just wanted to shout out Cholius Banger, who created the theme song for the podcast. This is just a snippet of his track.
Gravity, ayy, gravity, lay, gravity, hey, gravitated off.
If you haven't already, give the song a play. I just wanted to speak now about hardships and just difficult times. Struggle in difficult times, without a doubt, is a part of everyone's story. In your life, what moments stand out the most of when things weren't the best?
Probably in my second year. Actually, probably a bit further down than that was when I got delisted. That nothing was really going my way, to be honest. It was a tough time for me. Felt like you feel a great shame, and then you also feel like you've got nothing in front of you as well too. And it took a while for me to realise that. That was only 2 years of my life. The best part of my life is in front of me, and that. You pretty much got a clean slate to do whatever you want. It's almost like you're just coming out of high school as well, so and straight into it. So that took me probably a year or two to realise that. And once I did, you probably end up a lot happier than you think you would be, and a lot more fulfilled as well too.
Yeah. Do you remember, like, throughout your support group, like which characters played a pivotal role in that period where you were delisted?
Well, everyone did. All my support group played a really good, really important role in my life as well too, and supported me moving down to Melbourne as well too. And also had some great teammates and their families as well to help me out as well. So that was awesome. And then once I got my feet down in Melbourne, was able to see what I wanted to do and go from there. And I think that was a pretty big stepping stone to where I am now.
Yeah. That period, having been delisted, that would have been very tough. Like, what kept you going? Like, how come you didn't stop in that period?
It is very tough, and I think back then as well too, and probably AFL clubs would own up to not having enough support around players exiting the game as well too. So you can feel a little bit lost. But for me, it was sort of like what kept me going was I've got a really high ambition and really high drive, and I want to get the best out of myself as well too. So for me, it was just like, okay, what can I do next? What can I do to get back to where I was, or get back to a good space as well too, and doing something that I like doing, and something that can fill me with some sense of fulfillment as well too. That was really pivotal as well there. And then from there, it was just it's actions from there, to be honest. And I like to say from there, going to the Footscray Bulldogs and making a good impact there, and making some really good friendships there. So I deem that period as a successful period of my life.
You touched a bit on it just then, going into Footscray. How long was that period between when you were delisted and then you worked your way into the Footscray team?
It was probably only 2 months. So when I moved down to Melbourne in December, that's when I started my pre-season at Footscray VFL, and then I was there for 2 seasons. And before, obviously I moved back to Brisbane for work, and then when I moved back to Melbourne last year, it was the first club went back to straight away with the Footscray Bulldogs. So I spent 3 seasons there in total.
With this next question, you can speak about it as little as you want, as much as you want, or not at all.
What is next? What's my next step?
Oh, no. With the next question, you can speak about it as much as you want, as little or not at all. But wanted to speak more about your family. Your siblings and yourself were raised by your mum, and your dad, unfortunately, never made it to Australia. What happened to your dad?
Well, as you probably know, there was a civil war in South Sudan in the 90s. So he was a victim of that. But I don't really have too much recollection of him as well too. So all I know is what stuff my mum tells me as well too. But he would have not been the only one lost in that. Even though that's the case, that's still very, I wouldn't say traumatic, but it's very, it leaves something to be decided when you're not growing up without a father figure in the house as well too. And like I mentioned earlier, you had people to fill that void, but at times it's not the same. But a lot of people go through that in life as well too. And in that same circumstance with the civil war in South Sudan, a lot of people would have been going through that as well too.
Yeah. No, I myself as well. Like, I came to Australia. We came in 2005, and my dad died through that as well. He was a soldier, so he passed away through the war. Can you remember how old you were when you first realized your dad wasn't here?
I would have been probably like 8 or 9 years old, to be honest.
Yeah.
But from there, like, I always try and be pretty positive, and especially for my mum. So it's not never a question. I never like ask my mum, where's my dad and stuff like that. Whereas, my younger sibling might do that because they're a little bit more curious and stuff too. But I was a little bit more conscious of what was going on, and I was able to, from my mum, say, just especially as a kid, it's hard to have a kid ask you those questions. So I was able to, just keep it positive and enjoy what we had as a tight-knit family then.
You mentioned how you did your best to stay positive and to keep it positive. There might be like a younger person who hears your story who can relate to not having both parents in the house growing up. Being older now and having had gone through that phase yourself, what could you tell that young person?
What I would say is, look, just because that connection isn't there doesn't mean you're not allowed to create new ones as well too. So always look to create new bonds in life, because you never know what bond you're going to create that lasts for life pretty much. People who will always have your back and have your corner. And it doesn't have to be too many people. It can be 1 or 2 people, and you feel like you've got their entire world behind you as well too.
No, that's nice. I like that. with the next phase, we're going into dreams. You started playing football at Zilma in under 8s. Roughly 8 years later, you had your time like playing some academy games. Was there ever a point where you just knew, okay, I'm going to make this dream for certain? Like, was there a moment that you could tell yourself, I'm going to make it?
I always had that mindset since I started playing in under 8s, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
since under 8s?
Since I was a little kid. So, so I was always just said, I'm going to do that.
And obviously, you would have played for many coaches over the years. Is there a coach that stands out for you?
A coach that stands out for me. Let's go with, for me, I reckon in 2019, this will be my best VFL year, and the coach was Daniel Saracusa, who was a Western Bulldogs legend. He's currently, I think he's a midfield coach at Essendon. He stood out for me just because he was a little bit hard on me, but he was hard on me because of the expectations and standards that he expected from me. So I think that really helped to get that good VFL season out of me, and it obviously would have been great to win a premiership there. I think we went out in straight sets, but that just stood out for me. Someone who rides it very hard because they expect so much out of you.
Yeah. You mentioned a bit about VFL there. I saw a picture, and then there was also something on Instagram that I saw. You were playing against Roughhead in VFL, and from the picture and from the video, it looked like he was giving you like advice. Like, do you know which picture I'm talking about? It's a pretty famous or infamous, whichever way you want to look at it. And on Ruffy, he's a great guy, and no surprise he's transitioned into coaching straight after his career as well too, because he's got those attributes and that conducive of a good coach and someone who's able to teach and pass on what he's learnt in his 15 plus years in the game. I was probably fortunate to be one of those people to receive that. Yeah, it's probably a long time now since obviously that day, but do you have a rough idea of what that discussion was, of what he was pointing out to you?
No, we were just having footy talk, and it was an open dialogue, so that was pretty good. It was ask questions between the two of us, and it was just a really good open conversation and open dialogue about what play had just occurred, and it was really insightful.
Oh. When Majak Dor and you saw Majak and Alir go pro, what impact did that have on you, knowing you wanted to go through the same pathway?
For me, it was Alir. Alir was pretty big for me. Just because you may not know this, but he's actually a Brisbane boy from the north side as well too. So he grew up not too far away from me, probably like 10, 15 minutes away from me. And I remember we used to, because our families were family friends, and used to go over to his house when he was playing at the Ashley Hornets. So we had a good connection from an early age as well too, before obviously he moved to WA and then got up to Sydney. But for me, it was just because it's someone right there, someone you grew up with, someone from your area as well too, in your background. That really, that was a great feeling for me. And I think he debuted in 2016, and I debuted in 2016 as well too. In 2016 as well, and that was amazing. Or just to have him, give me a call on my debut night and wish me luck, meant a lot. Just because it's both come a long way from the Northside days.
I think for myself as well, like what makes this moment really, really special is like similar to what happened between you and Alir, like growing up in the same area, and then you saw him go pro. like I mentioned this to you the other day, but like there was, I think in 2013 there was a multicultural competition here in Brisbane, and you were playing on the Brisbane team, and I was playing on the Toowoomba team, and I played our team versus you guys, and you had yourself, Mobs, Prince, and some other boys on the team. You guys ended up taking out the competition, but like I remember playing against you guys, and then a few years later, you guys go pro, and so it was like, whoa, you know, I versed those guys, and I gotta be on the same field as them. And then like the next year as well, I think Mabior, we went to Coffs Harbour for Old Nations comp, and he was an assistant coach, and he said to us, like, he was like, I'm gonna play AFL one day, and then 2 years later he made it, and it was like, wow, you know, like it was special. So like this moment, man, I really appreciate it.
No worries, and I appreciate hearing that too. And you're spot on. Yeah, he's always said, I'm going to play AFL. He said he's going to be the first ruckman to win the Brownlow. So hopefully that comes true. Maybe it'll be the first ruckman to win the Coleman. But he's going well. Yeah,
definitely a Gold Coast right now is doing very good.
Yeah, he's been great.
For yourself, what has it been like to see, I guess, different South Sudanese and I guess Africans in general, like succeeding and making it into sports? Like, you know, there's AFL now, there's NBL, there's A-League, you know, athletics, there's Joseph Deng and Peter Bowl in there. Thomas Deng, I believe, is in Japan. And then even Awerma Bill is in the La Liga now. Like, what has it been like for you to be able to see that happening around the world?
Yeah, it's been great, and I think with the more opportunities given, more access to facilities too as well, we're seeing a lot of African players reach their potential as well too, and obviously with the basketball as well, you see South Sudan finishing number one in the rankings as well, so it just shows the potential that program had and how it's being fulfilled as well too. While Dang backing it as well too, and leaving his imprint on that program as well. With the AFL, the African players, they've just come in leaps and bounds the last probably 5 years. Obviously, we've got our Ghana boys, Isaac and Brendan, who play at Collingwood and Freo respectively, and then Clubby in the VFL as well, and for obviously a big South Sudanese contingent as well too, which is growing by the year. I feel I think we're up to maybe like 9 or 10 now, which is a lot. So. But I saw a really good piece on AFL.com today. I think Ali did a nice video about him growing up. It was probably him by himself, him and Majak at the start, and now he feels like he feels like one of the older guys as well too now, and he can have that real leader role, impact role, and sort of set up for those coming through as well too. And a lot of these guys coming through have that mindset and know that whatever they do now impacts the next generation as well too.
Yeah, I saw that piece as well. That was inspiring. Like, it was up on the AFL page earlier.
Yeah, no, that was really good. No, I liked it.
In terms of impact now, everyone has a story, and at one point, those stories get passed on. Whether it's when you stop playing sports one day, or from retiring from your future ambitions, maybe through business later on. When people hear the name Reuben Williams, what would you like to have been known for?
Actually, at the moment, I've actually got a little goal in mind. So I want to have an impact, and obviously, like on the field, you want to have an impact, but off field, for me, what I want to do is I want to be someone who's helped set up people to achieve what they want to do. I think these days there's a lot of people want to do something but don't really have the platform to do it. So for me, I want to be someone who's given people that platform to be able to go and achieve what they want to do as well too.
That's nice. Is that like obviously outside of football as well? Hey.
Yeah, outside of football, on field. Yeah, I want to I think I'm the most capped Sudanese AFL or VFL player So I think I've played about 90 odd VFL games.
Yeah. Whoa.
So that might be on field. That might be what I might go for. Maybe hit 100 VFL games or something. But off field definitely is what I'm sort of looking forward to leaving my mark on.
Mm. A few years ago, you wrote a letter titled "We Are African, We Are Australian." For someone who may not be aware, the letter was around African youths and how the media was portraying them. This letter was co-written by some other big names. To name a few, there was Majak, Alir Alir, and Miss Akech, who currently now plays in the WAFL for the Hawks. Even though that letter was back in 2018, when I read that just yesterday afternoon, I thought, wow, I like it when people stand up for something. And for you guys to stand up and use your voices against what was happening in the media, I thought that was very important. For you, would you say you've seen changes since after the letter?
I'd say I've seen changes, and I think it's conducive to the way that we're being portrayed now. It's not through that, it's through, and shout out to Peter Bowl and Joseph Dang, it's through positive ways. I think you see Peter Bowl representing Australia and doing great things, Thomas Dang representing Australia, doing great things at Wimmerville as well too, and obviously all our AFL players absolutely dominating. I mean, that's our brand now. That's what we stand for. We're great athletes, and we're great people as well. On top of that as well too, which has been great. And I think shout out to all those guys I've just mentioned, and everyone else in the background as well too. I think they're really leading the way and showing how we should be portrayed as well too. So they've been awesome.
Mm. Around that time of the letter, the Western Bulldogs, they put up a story about you, and I took this part from the letter where you said the following, but I'll just play the recording now.
Sometimes I fall in the trap of thinking maybe I'm not big enough to make a change, but a collective voice is very strong.
Throughout that and in your personal walk, there'd be obviously moments of nervousness in being able to use your voice and stand up. Have you overcome that, or do you still find it difficult at times to stand up and use your voice?
I find it a little bit easier now. I'm a bit more confident in being able to articulate what I want to articulate and get the message out that I want to get out as well too. Being a little bit older as well too. I think when that letter came out, I would have been about 20 years old. So fast forward 4 years now, and it's definitely a lot easier. And I think the good thing is now I've got a lot of people in my corner as well too, and a lot of people that I'm able to speak to these things about too, and gain insight as well too. And that's been really good as well. So definitely say I'm a bit more confident.
Yeah. To finish off, I just had some last things to ask regarding the future. Marriage and kids one day. Is that part of the plan for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, me and my girlfriend, I think we've been going out for almost 2 years. So, who knows? But yeah, definitely marriage and kids somewhere in there for me.
Mm. When kids come along one day, where would you say would be the ideal place to raise a family?
Definitely Brisbane or Melbourne. I can't see anywhere else, to be honest.
Nice. Your favorite food?
Favorite food? Or might be sushi.
Sushi.
Yeah, sushi.
Your favorite place you visited?
Favorite place I've visited? It would have to be Brisbane. I love Brisbane a lot. Yeah,
Brisbane.
I love going to Brisbane.
Over Melbourne.
Well, I live here now, so I can't really say that at the moment. Yeah.
And your favorite artist to listen to?
Right now, I'm pretty big on Rod Wave. Yeah, he's just released a really nice album. Yeah, I'm really vibing with that.
Did you have a favorite song by him?
Right now, it'd be Pieces. It's really good. It's just the way he's harmonious. It's very good.
Would you say you're more like Rod Rave is a bit of like a singer type. Are you more like the storytelling, like rap, or like what type of music do you like most?
Oh, I like them all. I like I like party music, like party rap. I like storytelling rap, but then like I like a bit of singing, a bit of vocals and all that as well too. So right now I think I'm in the vocal stage, and there's not much else out at the moment. I think this is the best of what's out, and yeah, he's absolutely killed the album.
Oh, that's good. And then your favorite movie?
My favorite movie?
Yep.
We watched it the other day. I can't remember what the name is. I think I watched it the other day. Actually, I really do like Blood Diamond.
Is that the guy that does the fighting?
No, Blood Diamond is obviously the diamond trading Sierra Leone, and how the locals are being sort of taken into slavery to mine these diamonds as well too, and yeah, that's why they call it Blood Diamonds. A lot of blood's being shed over them as well.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's got Leo DiCaprio in it.
And throughout your 24 years here on Earth, what's one thing you've learned that has stood with you?
Always be humble. Be humble and grateful for whatever position you're in, because yeah, you never know what it's going to be like the next day or the next hour or the next minute. So yeah, always be grateful and humble for what's given to you.
That's a good one. And lastly, to finish off, if you could give someone out there one piece of advice, what would it be?
Probably be with things like the quote, probably Bob Marley of Tobacco Corey, keep your head up, because, you know, even though things are hard now, things do 100% get better. It's never always going to stay the way things are. They 100% get better. So always keep your head up and chin strong.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, man. And thank you for that. And thank you again for your time.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. Thank you. That's it, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Hopefully you get some good content out of that.
Cheers.
Too easy. Thanks.
You have a good one.
You too. Bye.
See ya. Before checking out, I wanted to say thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe and follow Gravitated Arts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Plus, hit the notifications bell to be notified every time Gravitated Arts drops.
Did it for my team, for my peace, for my G, for who need it. Showing up on days that I couldn't see a reason. Showing up on days I would rather lay and sleeping. Showing up on days I disconnected, they connected, now we gravitated, 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 gravitated,